Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Elizabeth Warren is pretty much having a complete and total mental breakdown at this very moment. You see, Elizabeth Warren is not happy that Trump and Elon Musk are on a crusade to cut waste out of our federal government's budget. No, in fact, it would seem as if every time a budget cut is made, Elizabeth Warren descends one step further into complete and total insanity. So hey, let's just jump right into things. For some context, here's a clip of President Trump explaining exactly what's going on.
Why is it important for Elon Musk to have access to the payment systems at Treasury?
Well, he's got access only to letting people go that he thinks are no good if we agree with him, and it's only if we agree with him. He's a very talented guy from the standpoint of management and costs, and we put him in charge of seeing what he can do with certain groups and certain numbers. Some of the numbers are horrible, what he's found. Think of it, $100 million on condoms to Hamas. Condoms to Hamas. And many other things that are frankly even more ridiculous. And they're finding tremendous waste, really waste more than anything else, I think you could say. Probably fraud and abuse could be added to it, the more standard waste, fraud, and abuse.
Okay, so what President Trump has done is effectively give Elon Musk access to the US Treasury's payment system so that he can conduct an audit. And it's this system that pretty much all of our federal government's payments operate through. And so, as President Trump said, Elon can't just start indiscriminately cutting things at his own discretion. No, what Elon is doing is identifying wasteful government expenditures, running them by Trump, then cutting it if it makes sense. And guess what? As Elon continues to peel back the layers of our federal budget, he just keeps on finding more waste and more fraud. Money, as in billions of dollars, has just been disappearing into various black holes, and no one can explain why. And so this is where the Democrats come into the picture, specifically Senator Elizabeth Warren. You see, as we said earlier, as Elon Musk continues to make cuts to the federal budget, Elizabeth Warren has pretty much descended into complete and total madness. In fact, she actually released an official video statement on all of this, so let's go ahead and start breaking it down.
I just want to be clear about what's going on here. The system that makes sure that your granddad gets his Social Security check, the system that makes sure that your mom's doctor gets Medicare payment to cover her medical appointment, and the system that makes sure that you get the tax refund that you're owed has been taken over by Elon Musk.
So you can already see what she's going to do here. It's all just fear-mongering and propaganda. And by the way, Elon Musk hasn't taken over the system. He's just auditing it under Trump's direction.
And every organization from your state government that uses federal money on that bridge project to the local Head Start that takes care of little kids while their mommies and daddies go to work is now at the mercy of Elon Musk. Elon just grabbed the controls of our whole payment system, demanding the power to turn it on for his friends or turn it off for anyone he doesn't like.
Yeah, so here's the thing. The only people that he's turning things off for are people that have been embezzling money from the federal government for decades. And actually, now that I think about it, maybe that's why Elizabeth Warren is so upset about all of this.
We don't know what safeguards were pulled down. Are the gates wide open now for hackers from China, from North Korea, from Iran, from Russia? Heck, who knows what black hat hackers all around the world are finding out about each one of us and copying that information for their own criminal uses.
Guys, I have to say, this is probably the most incompetent attempt at fear-mongering I've ever seen. This idea that because the Department of Government Efficiency is now auditing our incredibly wasteful federal budget, that now we're exposed to our enemies abroad is just ridiculous. In fact, everybody keep in mind, it's people like Elizabeth Warren that have been directly involved with funding our enemies abroad, so this is just comically ironic. And now I do want to say real quick, guys, if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing because it actually does help the channel a lot. But okay, so what else does Senator Elizabeth Warren have to say about all of this?
Donald Trump and his billionaire buddies are determined to take over this government to make it work better for themselves and worse for everyone else. And this is just the start. As we gear up for the tax fight, it will become even clearer that Trump will open the doors for his billionaires and giant corporations to find more ways to loot the government at your expense. Meanwhile, everyone else pays more for groceries, more for housing, more for prescription drugs, and more for health care.
You hear that? Because President Trump is cutting out hundreds of billions of dollars worth of waste out of our federal budget, everything is going to get more expensive somehow. Do you guys think she knows how dumb she sounds? And you know what's funniest about all of this? It's always the Democrats that are yapping about wasteful spending, but when push actually comes to shove, they all love the waste because they're the ones profiting from it. But okay, let's listen to Senator Warren's final thoughts on all of this.
When unelected billionaires start ransacking our government offices, this is not business as usual. Nope, nothing is normal. We are living a nightmare created by Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and we need to wake up.
Okay, listen guys, it's important to pay attention to what she's really saying here. She's saying that cutting waste out of our federal government's budget is quite literally her worst nightmare. Cutting out federal government bloat, waste, and inefficiency is the worst nightmare of the Democrats. That is what she's saying. So when we talk about the swamp, it's this sort of stuff that we're all talking about. And hey, guess what, Elizabeth Warren? This swamp is about to get drained. But now, there's something else I want you guys to see. I'm not sure how many of you guys know this, but most vaccine manufacturers have been given legal protection by our federal government. What this means is that if a faulty vaccine is rolled out and it causes a lot of damage, a lot of health issues perhaps, the vaccine manufacturer can't be legally held accountable or sued. And so just yesterday, Senator Elizabeth Warren unleashed an absolute tirade against RFK Jr. because he threatened to remove some of these legal protections from vaccine manufacturers. Take a look at this.
This is not only about a private company that gets sued and has to pay out. Vaccine manufacturers often operate on very slim profit margins. If they get sued repeatedly and successfully, they simply move out of the vaccine space. We've already seen this happen with vaccines in the past. 20 years ago, we watched vaccines just move away if they did not have protection from these kinds of lawsuits. The consequence of Mr. Kennedy's ability to make those lawsuits easier is also the ability to shut down access and manufacturing for vaccines for every one of us.
Will somebody please think of the poor, innocent pharmaceutical companies? They barely make any money at all. In fact, if we allow them to be held accountable, they might make a little bit less money. Yeah, not exactly the most compelling argument, Senator Elizabeth Warren. And also, by the way, guess who's taken millions of dollars from pharmaceutical companies? That's right, Elizabeth Warren. So hey, I'm telling you guys, the fact that corrupt politicians like Elizabeth Warren are freaking out about Trump and Elon Musk cleaning up our federal budget is not just not a bad thing, but it's also a good thing. In fact, what it actually means is that our country is finally beginning to heal. But hey, I think that's all I've got for you guys with this one, so I want to know what you guys have to say. Please go down below in the comments and drop a comment for me. Please like the video if you liked it. Please consider subscribing. Like I said earlier on in the video, it really does help a lot. Thank you all very much for tuning in today, and of course, as always, stay safe.